Thank you for tuning in to Burt Talks. I got Joe Rau, my manager here, and we're going to just chat a little bit about special features on vehicles some of our favorite ones. How you doing today, Joe?
Pretty good. How about you, Levi?
I'm doing good. Doing good. So
what's your favorite feature on the cars here?
I do actually like that they put I don't know if this would be really a special feature. It's more of an option. Well, so yeah, I guess it would be. But they do have a 6.2 that you can get in every single trim level of the Silverado now, which is pretty cool because before you'd have to get an LTZ or High Country to actually get that 6.2, and now they're offering 6.2 throughout the entire lineup. So you can get a Trail Boss Custom with a 6.2. That was one of the big things that I did like about that. You can have that bigger engine.
And that comes with the 10-speed, right?
Yes, yeah. Correct.
So that's a pretty awesome transmission from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, I think my favorite feature that comes across it, and a lot of people don't know that their current Chevys might even have it if they're in a lease, is talking to Siri right from your steering wheel, or for your Google Voice or Android, whatever you have set up for your Android voice commands. But you press and hold that talk button down for a couple of seconds so you hear either the ding ding for Siri or whatever. And I do all my texting, tell her to play my music or playlists or that type of thing. And I think that's probably my most convenient thing. And it seems like anytime if I have a vehicle for more than a day or two, I'm always making sure my phone's paired so I can actually do all this stuff to Siri right from my steering wheel.
Yeah, I know that's what I use that a lot too in my Silverado as I'm driving down the road. In fact, you can actually even say, "Hey Siri," and then it'll play over the thing, so you don't even really have to mess with pushing and holding the talk button if you have your Hey Siri set up, or Hey Google, or whatever it may be. I'm waiting for my phone to go bloop and kick behind me right here.
Yeah.
A couple of the cool things that when I moved over to Chevy and I saw that Equinox now has basically your blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, lane sway departure, and pre-collision. All of those things are pretty much standard across the board on how we order vehicles. I mean, there's a select maybe 2 or 3 that won't have that, but most of them do have that, and that was a pretty cool feature that I saw when I came over back to selling GMs. It does have all those safety features.
See, I really like that too, especially the rear cross traffic alert too, which a lot of people wonder what that is. But when you have a car with the side blind zone alert, most of them also have the rear cross traffic. In fact, all the new ones, if you have the side blind zone alert, will have it. But when you're backing up, it just simply looks both ways for you. When I'm appraising a trade-in or that type of thing, I sometimes have to catch myself and say, hold on, I got to look both ways and actually look out the back window to see if there's people coming, as opposed to just looking at a backup camera and just backing out, knowing that I have the safety features there too. So that I really like, even if I'm just backing out of my driveway, just because those rear pillars on the car are so big for rollover safety now that it helps you. It's amazing what you'd miss in that blind spot too, just backing out of your own driveway.
Well, yeah, imagine too, you got a guy with a big lifted truck on your right or left, and then a guy on your right with a big lifted truck, and you're trying to back out of a parking space. That could help too, right there.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
There was one that you brought up that actually I never even noticed until the day that you said something about it, and it was those projector beam headlamps.
Oh yeah, those are pretty cool.
And I actually didn't realize how much technology was into all of the headlamps that are on the vehicles now.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. One of the things that you'll hear people say on the car lot is they're surprised by having those bright white lights. The first thing they say, oh gosh, am I going to be the jerk that's glaring everyone off the road because you have these headlights are 3 times brighter. So if you guys ever see those people that have those bluish tinted lights and you can't see anything and they're driving at you, a lot of times they're taking those headlight bulbs, which the real good ones should be a pure white light, because as humans, that's what our eyes are used to, is pure white daylight, and you actually see better at night. You'll really notice the difference when it's raining outside at nighttime and you can't really see the lines. That's where those whiter lights really help out, but having that brighter light is really, really nice. The important thing is that you have a proper headlight to project that light. So a projector headlamp, instead of being like just a regular chrome reflector like headlights have used from the beginning of cars, is they put a chrome reflector and a light bulb there and this little shield to keep from blocking people, or blocking the light that you're spraying at people and blinding them. When they put that 3 times brighter headlight in, it throws so much glare that it glares people off the road. So a lot of times people have the bluish lights because they have the cheaper headlights. They're not putting real high quality ones in there or changing their housing. The projector lamp actually has a curved mirror that pushes the light and focuses it through the lens and gives it nice even light dispersion. So you're not staring at 2 bright spots in front of you in the road. It actually gives you nice even light like a movie projector. And the most important thing is you get a sharp cutoff line so you're not glaring other people off the road. So it's pretty awesome technology.
My Silverado has the old style lights and my little brother's has the new style lights. And it's night and day difference when you're in his truck. I mean, even last night, I went and drove to his house to go drop him off for a referral check. And when I got there, I was like, hey, let's go for a ride in your truck just to see the difference. And it was night and day difference on how you could see the road, because it was raining last night and it was black and the glare from the side of the roads and everything. Like, you couldn't see most of the stuff that was on the road. And in my truck, and when we get in his, it's perfectly fine. You can see everything. Yeah, I was really amazed when they started going to the LED headlights, or fog lights in the truck, excuse me. A lot of times fog lights you might see a little bit more a couple of feet in front of you, and they didn't make a big difference unless it was really bad visibility conditions, fog, winter, that type of thing. But man, I remember when I first hit those LED fog lights on driving back home at night one day, and it's like just how bright those LEDs are and how much better those throw the light with having that pure white light. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, that was one thing that I've always kind of mentioned to people when they do have the projector beam headlamps, and tell them like what exactly that does and go into depth and detail about that, because it's actually pretty cool to actually explain to someone what that little lens actually does for you.
Yeah, especially somebody that has vision or doesn't have good vision by themselves. I mean, if you saw me with glasses on, my glasses I think are 1/4 inch thick. I have such terrible vision. But for me at nighttime, those headlights are just a must-have once I've had them before. So, just especially people that have trouble driving at night with any eye conditions or that, it's something that's worth. It's almost priceless. So it's pretty awesome.
One thing I did notice too is that when I sold a Blazer last month, and it was an RS Blazer that had that hands-free liftgate. And I was like, okay, when you turn it on, when you're walking up to it, look for the Chevy symbol underneath the back of that's where you're going to wave your foot. And she thought that was the coolest thing in the world. It was probably like a whole 5-minute clip of her waving her foot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty neat, too. I mean, with the proximity sensor on that key fob, as you walk up to your car, you'll actually see that little Chevy bow tie get projected on the ground, so you're not looking around as to where to kick your foot and how you kick it. I mean, the weird thing about, you get a lot of people stick their foot out and they look like they're doing a sobriety test or something, but really you just want to do a quick kick in and out under that sensor about halfway up, and you'll get it every time, so that makes it pretty foolproof, which normally if you're doing that, your hands are full, so you don't want to be sitting there for a minute kicking your foot, trying to get your rear lift gate open.
Well, when I was selling Toyotas, the RAV4 was the hardest thing to get my foot under, to try to figure out where the sensor was. I must have sat out there for 45 minutes to a half an hour, literally that long, trying to figure out where the sensor was. And we were all kicking our feet around, and we skipped it, and we're like, all right, we'll go to the next thing and we'll come back to it. So when we came back to it, we were trying to do it again, couldn't find it. And then I think when I did the delivery of the vehicle, she was walking behind it with the key fob, and she dropped something, and when she dropped something, she bent over to grab it, and her hand set off the sensor on the side of it. So It was really cool to actually see that projection light that came down for the actual bow tie to see where that sensor actually was. Another one I've seen work firsthand is the pre-collision alert. Driving in California, I've had it happen to me. We were driving, and someone just slammed on the brakes in front of us, and you see the light come on, and it kicked on, and it actually stopped us. And there was another time I was on a test drive with a customer, and he was asking about the adaptive cruise control and the pre-collision alert, because that adaptive cruise control, when someone is slowing down, it'll slow all the way down to 0, But if it's a stopped car, it will turn into pre-collision alert, and we actually ended up activating the whole pre-collision alert where it slammed on its brakes and every screen turned red and we almost hit the car in front of us.
Yeah.
But
See, it surprised me because I always put mine on the far indicator because you can go far, medium, or near depending on how soon you want it to alert you, which is cool. If I'm driving through Detroit or Chicago or something, I'm putting it on near with how crazy the traffic is there. But normally I do it on far just so I'd rather be alerted a little bit earlier and falsely than anything. But there's a lot of times I'm just driving to work in the morning or something like that, and you're thinking about other stuff, and you're watching the car in front of you, and all of a sudden you see that collision alert go on, and I'm able to hit the brakes a little bit more gradually than if I'm just looking and all of a sudden I realize how slow this car is going, and I'm slamming on my brakes. So, it's funny. Just even when you're still watching the road, but your head's in other places or whatever else. So it's I like that feature too. That and the lane keep assist is one of the other things that surprised me is when I'm driving down the highway or stuff like that. There's times you think you're still in the lane pretty well, but all of a sudden you get a little nudge from the steering wheel that you're crossing the center lane going around a corner or something like that, which it's they have cameras that are looking for it, and it's actually reading the stripes in the road and making sure that you're sticking in your lane. But even just having there's little nudges here and there that I'll get every once in a while that I might just be gradually going over onto that line, and it's keeping me in the lane, which I always thought that was pretty neat too. Or especially so many people are so distracted in the car and they're on their phone when they shouldn't be, or doing other stuff, or maybe they got kids in the back and they're grabbing a pacifier they threw on the ground, or hearing their kid cry or scream, and all of a sudden, they're turned around, they're looking, and can have that lane keep assist keep them in their lane as opposed to going onto the rumble strip or maybe even worse. So that's a feature I've really enjoyed, especially if I have my kid screaming in the back.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, what's funny is my wife, when she's driving, she's always looked at the lanes and she hugs this right side like crazy because she's afraid that this side that someone's going to come up in the lane and they're going to hit. So she's always hugged the right side of the road. And whenever she's driving, I'm always like, you like that right side, huh? And their lane keep assist is constantly steering back from the right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. She actually, when we got the Equinox for her, and she was driving it, she's just like, I really do hug that side that bad. And I was just like, I know, I feel like I'm almost in the median, or like the ditch over on the side of the road here. So I always mess with her about it now, but she actually loves all the safety features that are in there, the auto high beams too. The vehicle's 2,000 feet in front of you, whether it's traveling with you, at you, or across traffic. It shuts your high beams down and it pops them right back on, so she never has to mess with them.
Yeah, I really like that too, because there's a lot of times I'm wondering if I'm being the jerk with my brights on, or if I'm still far enough away that I'm not blinding the person. This car just gets it down perfect when you have those auto high beams. I'm never worried about if I'm glaring the other person off the road. I've never been had the brights flashed at me once that it was too bright coming on, so they have that down to a science. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. There was one that I saw when I was looking at the new Corvette, and I know it's not out here yet, and they have a forward lift for the suspension. You can actually have GPS waypoints set to where if there's a speed bump that it knows the GPS is at and you're driving, it'll actually lift that front suspension so you don't scrape on that, or driveways or bumps or anything. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever.
I think that's really cool because I believe it stores about 900 up to 900 waypoints. So you can have your driveway or whatever else that you normally go to where it's a big bump, but it actually will lift that car just about 2 inches on that front end. So and when you're sitting there in a lower car like that, that's pretty nice. I know there's times that I'm driving just in my Camaro, which doesn't sit as low as what that car does. And, I'm pulling into a driveway at like a 45-degree angle slowly just because I'm worried about scraping that front lip of the car.
Yeah.
So, that's, I'll be a little jealous of those Corvette guys for that.
Well, I mean, I used to have my clips that sat that high off the ground, and I would scrape every single driveway I pulled in. So, and imagine those guys with the Corvettes. I mean, my Eclipse was, a penny opposed to the price of the Corvette. So be nice not to scrape on every single bump or driveway that you do come into with those GPS waypoints that they do let you set.
Yeah, it makes it, you could actually even put a front splitter on it for some extra downforce up front and not be worried about peeling it off. I know I've seen I had a couple of friends that have, some of the sports cars like that, and they put that front splitter on, mainly because it looks cool. I don't think that they're really using the car where that downforce matters.
Yeah.
But they're actually peeling that front splitter off. So that's be one of the many pieces of tech that's really, really cool on that car, and a first for some for vehicles that are on the road.
Definitely excited to see that, and then also all the different options with like the clutch modes that you can pop it into, the Z mode, the cars, I can't wait to see the car.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to talk about a half hour for that one once those come around. So.
Just on the interior alone, let alone the exterior.
Absolutely.
But the new 2020 HDs too, with the camera angles those things have, it's insane. You have your transparent trailer. You actually have a port that you can plug in a camera, and let's say that you're towing a bunch of cows or horses or something, and you have a sick horse or a sick cow and need to keep an eye on it. Well, obviously you can't be driving down the road the whole time and keep an eye on that horse and stopping every so often. You can actually set up a camera that will play live feed the entire time right on your head unit, and then still show you your GPS or your home screen and everything.
Yeah.
So when they came in and showed us all the technology with those cameras, like the over-the-ball hitch, if you have it set to where the line is to line it up to your ball, it actually locks your electronic parking brake, so you don't rock back and forth when you're going to park.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't tell you how many times I was hooking up my boat and I was just right, and all of a sudden you go and you put it in park and your backup camera goes off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you go to drop it and you go, oh man, I got to move back another quarter inch. And then you're trying to figure out which notch in the transmission you're locking into as you're rolling forward or back or that type of thing. So yeah, that's really nice, because I was really getting in the habit of starting to use my parking brake every time, and then parking brake's something you never really use in a truck, and then you go to pull away with your trailer and you're like, man, this thing's feeling really heavy. Well, yeah, parking brake's on. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, when you do have it on that line to line it up, I thought that was one of the cool things.
Yeah.
Because then you can it'll lock that parking brake so you don't rock back and forth.
Yeah, and that camera system for the trailers is really, really cool. I know that's an option that if I was getting one of the trucks and with pulling a trailer, I'd definitely want. You can even have I saw there some of the things I thought was really cool. The transparent trailer is really awesome with having that camera mounted on the back of your trailer, and you just see the outline of the trailer. It looks like kind of got a ghost trailer back there on your rear screen, but just having the rear view camera there, and you get some of the side angles you can have, that trailer package is really, really awesome. I remember seeing in the one training where you're talking about you have that extra auxiliary camera you can choose, and I saw they had it set up inside a camper as they were towing down the road or whatever. But that'd be really neat if you have some animals or something and that's in a trailer that you can check on them and see how they're doing and have that peace of mind looking at them on what's going on back there. So.
Now, I know they had the side blind zone cameras that actually shoot past your trailer too, so you can see if someone's in your trailer. So they do have a lot of technology in that 2020. And my father-in-law, who actually pulls campers, that's his career, is he owns his own business and he works for Camper's Choice, and he has a Denali, 2018 Denali, thing's gorgeous truck, and he said the drivetrain in the new ones is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
he likes his truck better, but exterior wise, but he likes the drivetrain in the new ones. He said that it's like a night and day difference between how this one pulls and how that one pulls.
Yeah. It's amazing just driving around town how much more responsive the new trucks and how light they are, and having the extra speeds in the transmission. Even just for pulling out in front of traffic, if you're just trying to get going somewhere and not get behind the slow car you see coming at you, you can pull out in front of traffic and know you have that extra power, and the whole truck just feels more nimble and lighter with some of the new materials they're using, and those extra speeds in the transmission are just awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So on an ending note, I guess, let's go here. If you could have any vehicle in the Chevrolet lineup, what would it be?
I'll take
why?
I'll take the new C8 Corvette. And just because I'm a sport car guy like that. My second choice would definitely be one of the a loaded up HD pickup truck, just because of the tech that's on that too. How about yourself?
I would probably go with the 6.2 Trail Boss, and then I would go with a Camaro. Definitely I believe it's the ZL1 or ZR1 or whatever it is.
Yeah, the ZL1.
ZL1. Yep. We were looking at them the other day, and I love the look of the Camaro. I don't know if I'd like too much of a Corvette, because I feel like the Corvette would get me in a little bit of trouble. More trouble than what the Camaro would. So
get you in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I kind of need a back seat, because I still have the kids to sit
You can still have the kids in the back seat and do a 4-second 0 to 60. So
exactly.
Yeah, perfect. And actually the Camaro's the last car they have with the manual transmission too. So for me and my Camaro SS, I still have a manual transmission. The new Corvette's not going to offer that with the dual clutch. I mean, the technology is just so much faster having that transmission in it. But it's still, there's something to be said about, when you're driving a car daily on the road, being able to manually roll through the gears and have fun popping it between them. It makes the driving that much more involved. The only reason why I'd want a sports car was the manual transmission, because you're more engaged in driving. I understand, by all means, no matter who is driving the vehicle, that the automatic is going to be faster no matter what, because it's a computer, but it's just the feel and the drive that you get when you're driving a manual transmission. Yeah. Makes me smile every time I take off in mine.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, thanks for having me today, Levi, and thanks for watching, guys.
Sounds good.